Hi, SECS parents. Welcome to a new week here at Sioux Center Christian School. We are very excited to have your kids back in the building again. This week, our focus is going to be inviting the kids into our school storyline, which is Living God's Story. We're really excited to be able to reflect a bit on what we have done to live out God's story in the past year. We're going to be looking at some of the projects that we did, the experiences the kids had last year, and we're going to be really treating this week's chapel as an opportunity to invite an invitation for our kids to be a part of God's story. We are going to be doing a bit of deep hope talk. You have maybe been hearing that word or that phrase from different teachers, but a deep hope is just basically our desire for what our kids are going to get out of an experience. And our deep hope in living God's story is that each person feels a part of God's story, that not only are they learning about God through his stories of the past, but that they feel a part of his story now at Sioux Center Christian and in our world today. So our deep hope is very much connected to that. As I said before, our focus this week will be our chapel to invite the kids into God's story, and that is at 1:35 on Wednesday. We hope that you are able to join us for that. One thing that we're going to have there that I wanted to prepare you for a little bit ahead of time, I will have a marker board sitting outside of the gym for you to add any deep hopes you might have as to how we live out God's story here at Sioux Center Christian this year. And you'll have an opportunity to record those on there, and then during the chapel, we'll share some of them. You don't need to write your name if you don't want to. It can be completely anonymous, but we would love to share parent deep hopes with the kids. If you are not able to meet us here for chapel on Wednesday, feel free to email me what deep hopes you have for the school year and for how we might live out God's story here at school, and I would be happy to make sure that those get onto the board. The last thing that I wanted to share with you is how we can be making some connections to our storyline at home. We want to continually be inviting our kids into God's story, and ways that you can do that at home is to talk about the things that we're doing here at school. One of the things that I've been really thinking about is ways that I can come alongside each of you as parents in doing this. We're going to be really focusing in on each of the different through lines at future chapels. So a lot of our connections at home starting in October will focus in on how kids are demonstrating different through lines and how they're practicing those in their daily life. But for this month, for September, the focus is on invitation. So I want you to consider thinking about ways in which you can invite kids to consider their relationship with God and their part in his story. A good reference for that would be looking at the biblical stories of people that have been invited into God's story. Hand, what I'm thinking about are like Noah and Joseph and David and Ruth, the disciples and Paul, and how they were all invited into God's story to do a specific thing, and how they demonstrated being faithful to God in the story that God had them play out. With that, you can also be taking a look at some of the Max Lucado books. He wrote You Are Mine, but he also has a whole series about how kids can connect to their relationship with God. That would be another way for you to connect kids to how they can live out God's story in their own lives. So we invite you to be a part of our time here this month as we focus on living out God's story. If you can come for chapel, awesome. If it doesn't work for you, remember you can send me your deep hopes, and I would be happy to put them on the marker board. And our focus this month will just be on invitation. So any ways that you can think about inviting your kids into God's story would be a great way for you to connect at home. So we hope to see you at chapel. Feel free to stop in anytime if you have any questions about storyline, deep hope, any of the things that we're doing with inviting our kids into God's story. Have a great day.